Hey everyone, welcome back to Challenge with Blake Colazo here today, bringing you some more balance changes and some updates with the Runeverse meta as well as Brawl. So I haven't did a balance video since May 1st, and we have 3 more days worth of changes to go over. So we're going to go over them. We're going to start the most recent ones and work our way down. So starting on May 13th, we had a change to standard. They changed sleight of hand. Its old ability was to give a minion +1/+2, and then you could be able to summon a copy of it under your control. Now its new ability is to give an enemy minion +1/+2, summon a copy of it under your control. I think they just made this card like not playable. Nobody's gonna play a card that buffs your opponent's minion and just makes a copy of it. You could just run a deck with that card if you really want to play that card. The only reason people were running this before is because it was a really good card. Being able to copy your own minions was like the benefit of this card. And then also combo decks really like this card because they like to play it with I forget what the card name is, Alenia, something like that. The card that gives you +5 magic damage. Like to run this card for combos. So I think they probably nerfed this card a little bit too hard. I think you could change this card without just making it targeting your opponent's creatures. You could probably just give your creature +0/+1 or something like that. That way you could still play it in combo decks, or maybe make it more expensive. But I think just summoning your opponent's creatures out of this is really bad, and you're probably not going to see it played anywhere. It's not worth it. It's just a dead card almost most of the time. Anyway, moving down. We got some changes to Brawl. So there was actually some really big changes to Brawls. So I don't think any... Okay, yeah. We're still going to start with these and work our way down. I just want to make sure nothing got changed twice. So we're going to start with some minions that got changed in Brawls. First off is Sticky Slime. And it has... Its new ability is whenever this defends and survives, you summon a slime with the same stats. And its upgraded ability is whenever this defends and survives, summon an exact copy of itself. So that's really cool. Its old ability was whenever this minion survives damage, summon an exact copy of it. And then its leveled up ability was summoning 2 exact copies of this. Now, I like this a lot because Sticky Slime was a hard card to deal with. And making 2 copies of it before was really hard to deal with. So being able that it only summons 1 is still really good. And summoning an exact copy of itself. So I guess, like, even if you buff it or even if it takes damage, it's still going to have that damage on it. So really cool. Hopefully we'll see some differences with Sticky Slime now. Hopefully it's not such a pain to win. This card wins so many games in Brawls because you'll just end up having good trades, and he still somehow has like 1 slime. So getting rid of 1 would be great. Moving now, we just got a change to Spiked Bone Ogre. Its new ability is Unearth a level 1 equipment card, and then if you level it up, it has Unearth a level 2 equipment card. So it's kind of eh. It's kind of eh. Like, I've played it once or twice, but it's not anything amazing. Its old ability was just Unearth equipment that costs 1 less, and its upgrade ability was Unearth equipment that costs 2 less. I don't know if it's better now or better before, because sometimes you can get some really good equipments that just cost less. Like, I don't know if people were using this card and it was broken. Haven't run into this card a lot in Brawls, so I don't understand really the change here. I don't know if the card's going to play better or worse. Moving down, we got some rune changes. Starting out with Dark Vision. It's got a new rework. It's now a passive rune, so it activates by itself. Its new ability is at the start of turn, play dice with Morgan. If you win, you get 2 free reloads. Wow, I like that a ton. I haven't yet to play with Dark Visions, but now I kind of want to. Its old ability was a random minion from Morgan's crew costs 2 less and gains +1/+1. All right, yeah, so they noticed people weren't playing that. I like its new ability a lot more. Free reloads are sweet. Hopefully you can get some sweet level ups out of that. Next up, we got Braided Power rework. Whenever you cast a spell, a random friendly minion gains +1/+1 is its new ability, so that's interesting. You can want to play like something that's like super spell heavy. And its old ability was at the end of turn, fill your lineup with random minions from your crew level, cost 3 per minion. Honestly, I never got to play with this card before. We'll see how it plays out. It's such a dramatic change. It's not even like it's nearly the same thing. So I've yet to play with this card, so it's hard to judge. Whenever you cast a spell, a random friendly minion gets +1/+1. I mean, you can get some pretty cheap spells. So we'll see how that works. Alrighty, so Unstoppable Force. The next minion you buy this turn gains +1/+1, powers up each combat you win. Its old ability was the next minion you buy this turn gains +1/+1, powers up each activation. So what's nice about this card now is you don't even need to activate it, so you don't need to waste time activating it. It just levels up when you win. This card might be really, really good. Like, you know, if you win a lot of early game combats, you get like 10 early game combats under your belt. This card is going to be like super strong when you buy a minion. So Unstoppable Force seems really strong. We'll see how that plays off. Sea Wolf. New ability. Whenever you upgrade Morgan's crew, you get a random equipment that costs equal to your crew level. Its old ability was whenever you upgrade Morgan's crew, you get a random equipment that costs equal to your crew level or less. So I like that they changed this because now you won't get really bad equipment. You'll get equipment equal to your crew level, which is absolutely sweet. That was my problem with Seawolf before, because I did play this rune quite a few times, is I would always get really bad equipment when I used this because it was always or less. So this is a big change, and being able to get stuff of your crew level is huge, definitely in the later game. And we got to change to lurking. New, at the start or at the end of turn, all friendly minions gain +2/+1, +2/+2, skip your next purchase phase. Wow, interesting. That's like really fun in the late game. Its old ability was skip your next purchase phase. At the start of turn, all friendly minions gain +2/+2. Okay, so all they did was change it to at the end of turn now. So like you can buy minions and then activate this, so you can't activate it next turn. Okay, I kind of like that. Okay, interesting. I've yet to play this card, but it seems really fun in the early game. Like in the beginning, this is like a super beatdown too. Like if you can get like a super wide board, like buy some like Beverly Buzzkills and like go super wide and then activate this, it's gonna be hard for your minion to beat. Because they just gain +2/+2. It's not like it's like that ability stays. Interesting. Anyways, moving down to May 10th, we had a bunch of changes from Brawls. I'm not going to go over every single equipment. You guys have already played probably since then. There was just some increases and decreases when it comes to some of these items. So feel free to just pause the screen and kind of read through them. You guys probably know what most of these items are. I'm not going to go over every single one. Just some major cost increases and decreases. Nothing dramatic. Alrighty, guys. So we're going to move down to May 6th. I should have probably put this in the beginning of the video. Apologies. Anyway, so there have been some big changes to Ski Brawls, which I'm sure you guys have known. Today is the 16th. This update came out on the 6th. We're going to start with the Exclusion Mechanism, which basically just means at the beginning of each game, before you pick your rune, they take out a class, or they take out a class that that nobody can play, just so it's easier to find minions and things like that, because there was so much before in the game. So we'll just read it. With the expanded minion pool, it will eventually become very difficult to find a minion you need the most. Therefore, an exclusion mechanism will be added to balance out the wide variety of minions in the pool. At the start of the game, before you choose a rune, you can see which class is excluded from the game for all players. All runes, minions, equipment, spells, and traps that work with that class will be excluded from the game. So, you get to see your runes. If you get the rune that gives all soldiers +2 life, and you see soldiers have been excluded from the game, obviously you don't want to take that rune. So that's just an example. So I really like this mechanism because it's easier to level up your creatures and find things. If it stays, who knows? I don't know if there's been any issues with it or not, but I definitely found it a lot easier leveling up my creatures as I go, which I like a lot. Moving down to another big change, there's a new in-game currency, which I'm sure you guys have seen. At the moment, the only currency to buy minions and equipment is gold. We're not entirely satisfied with the system because it forced decisions to be made about whether to prefer a minion, a role, or an equipment. We are introducing a new type of currency, swords. So, basically, swords just allow you to buy equipment. That's all it does. And spells, which are new too. So, at the end of combat, you will get swords depending on your outcome. You get 1 sword if you get a defeat, 2 swords for a draw, 3 swords for a victory, and 4 swords if you're on a streak. Swords will allow you to buy equipment and other items. Gold will remain for minions and roles. This system will also counterbalance the game's progression, where at the moment, winning combats at the beginning brings no actual advantage. It's true. So, and then traps and spells. You can now buy traps during your turn and place them on the battlefield. Traps are a single-use card triggered. Traps and spells. You can now buy traps during your turn and place them on the battlefield. Traps are single-use cards triggered by events during combat. Once triggered, they disappear. Spells are cards that apply an effect just like traps that are single-use. So, keep that in your mind. Also, they made all goblins are now mercenaries, and they did some changes to some old cards. Golden Comeback cost increase to 3 from 5. Alter Sacrifice, minions need to trigger increase to 25 from 20. And Wood Shield rework. New has taunt, old has taunt and assault. And if the wearer is a soldier, give it +1 extra life. So they just changed that around as well. So those are the big changes. More or less the ones you really need to worry about out of all these changes, in my opinion, is the big standard sleight of hand. That's going to mess with standard a little bit, definitely in those combo decks. And obviously the big rework in Brawl, which I'm sure you guys have all played by now. Hey man, but other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, just an update on some of these balance changes. I'll try to get these videos come out a little bit sooner. I like when I have a few to talk about it as a time, because this game likes to push out a lot of balance changes, which I like a lot, but I don't want to come out with a video and then like the next day they come out with another balance change. So I'm going to wait a few at a time before I put out another one. Like I said, most of you guys have probably already played Brawl since the game's really tiny since then. But yeah, hopefully you guys like the content. If you do, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video if you really want more of this content, and comment down below, let me know if you guys saw anything that I missed in this that might, you know, affect any of these cards. But other than that, I'm your boy Classo. Make sure you guys keep on dueling. I'll see you guys next time.